Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well today. So for this group, this is a little bit of training that I wanted to give, and if you'd notice, I've started doing some lives. So listen, if there's anything that you guys want to learn or to understand, please comment below or send me a DM, and then I can do a post on it. But for today, what we're going to look at is how to build up a tolerance for your distress. Okay, so what does that feel like and what does that look like? Okay, so I understand that when you're suffering from your PTSD and anxiety that you can get into these distressful situations. So the thing that you want to do is, though, build up a tolerance to it. So at any given time in the day or week or month or whatever, life is not all perfect. Life is not all rainbows and flowers and everything else. There's stressors in life, and this is the fact that is. So we need to learn how to cope with those. So when you're suffering with anxiety and PTSD, those stressors can feel a little bit more intense than to the average person. So what do we need to do is, first and foremost, normalize those feelings. Okay, so it's okay to have those feelings. Everybody runs around in that state of like, I have to be happy, I have to be great, I have to be wonderful, I have to be. You don't have to be anything, right? So understand that. So the other thing is having a better vocabulary for what it is that you're feeling. So if your vocabulary is very, very low in this category, and to say that, I'm scared, right? And that's your answer for everything going forward. It's hard to then state how you're really feeling and then normalize that feeling and that emotion in that time frame. So when you're looking at, and I'm not kidding, when I was in therapy, I would look up other words. I would just figure out what it is that I was feeling and, use those words, and people would look at me like I was crazy, but it doesn't matter. It's like what works for you. And always, please keep in mind, guys, everything I'm teaching you is from a coaching standpoint. I'm not a therapist. At no point should this group or any of my programs take away from your therapy. They work together in tandem with a therapist, whether it's a psychiatrist or a psychologist, doesn't matter. So the other thing that you're looking at is also experiencing the distress in small doses. So if you know how to handle it on a small dose, then you can get accustomed to then working through the distress and your stressors on a bigger note. So how do we do that is, like, if you're in a stressful situation, and then, have a little mantra that you say to yourself, like, this is temporary, right? Because all these emotions really are, and the stressors that you put yourself through, that you're into, the feelings of anxiety, depression, they do pass. Not right away. Some of them are longer than others. Like, I've gone through, when I was at my worst, some of the grief waves that I used to call them, not a technical term. Some were short, some were long, some were really deep, and some weren't. So it's a roller coaster. That's life, right? So understanding that you're not always going to feel perfect, wonderful, and great is a start point. Normalizing the stressors is a second. Finding that little thing that you can talk yourself through, the mantra that works for you to understand the stress that you're feeling at this moment will pass, and it is temporary. Now, people think temporary and they think 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes that temporary is a week or two, right? But you have to still keep going forward and understand that it does get better. It will, in fact, get much better. And then these are things that you want to also keep note of. Keep note of what it was, the stressor that triggered you. How did you handle it? How long was that? I know I keep harping on this about journaling and writing and everything else, but listen, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to go back and look at what I was like and what worked, what didn't, to be able to put together all the programs that I have. So when you understand how and what's working and what really doesn't, then you can change your behaviors in order to make that better the next time. So guys, if you're catching this on the replay, please put an R. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope that has helped you in some small way. And I hope I've earned the privilege of your time today. So guys, on that note, have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow.